Hello, my name is Elias Espinoza,
My name is Emily Romero.
and we're celebrating Lunar New Year with the Chinese Club of San Marino.
The Chinese Club of San Marino was funded in 1979 as a nonprofit organization. Their mission is to promote cultural exchange, educational development, and community service. The club has helped many local children and adults learn Chinese and Chinese culture. The funds are used to help local schools and community services.
So we were introduced our organization by our professor, and before we contacted them, our professor told us to look into the organization more. So that's what me and my group mates all decided to do, to look into their information on their website and mostly about the event.
We first contacted the organization through email. From there, that led to a brief in-person meeting where we met two representatives of the Chinese Club of San Marino, Fanny and Joanne. From there, the professor gave us a letter of recommendation, and the professor met with those two representatives on Zoom, which led to us being able to email the organization and be in talks with them about what we would be doing, the program design, and continuing on with this process.
Going into this project, our plan was to volunteer at the organization of the Lunar New Year Event in Pasadena. Thanks to their flexibility and willingness to help us, the organization allowed us to volunteer at their annual event and document the whole event and the different activities that we were able to engage in and help. This allowed us to serve primarily the Asian American community of San Marino.
So the design of our project was to conduct the Lunar New Year Event volunteer hours. So between the organization and our outcome learning, we both all decided was about learning about their culture events, the history, and between all of the Lunar Year Event.
Some of the strengths of our program included that because they adopted us and took us on board, we were able to have a precise date, time, and location. Not only that, but we were able to talk about how the program design would be implemented in this Lunar New Year event, and it was also easy for us seeing as the Lunar New Year event aligned very well with what this class assignment was meant to do, which was to allow us to learn more about Asian American communities and families. Some of the challenges that we faced, however, were primarily scheduling conflicts. From the day we found out we were in a group to the day of the Lunar New Year event, there's a little bit of a time constraint, but because all the rain that was going on in February, we saw that the Lunar New Year event got postponed for a month. So it gave us a little bit of leeway, but still not a lot. However, we were able to push through and see the program through. But that didn't mean that there weren't scheduling conflicts for the rest of us as classmates. Like many of you guys, there are things going on outside of this one particular class that called for some scheduling conflicts between group members. So that's a little bit of a challenge that we had to overcome. But we were able to get through it together and make the most out of what we had.
As aforementioned, we had a clear date on when we would be implementing the program, as we set a date that we were all going to go to the event and help out. In the weeks leading up to the event, we made sure to ask questions where we would be meeting to be prepared. We also asked if we had to adhere to a dress code and where we would be stationed during the event to know where we were going to be. And the day that the event came around, all we had to do was show up, check in, and perform our assigned duties, and we were able to serve the Asian American community, and we had a great time as a group.
And to ensure the quality of the program, we made sure to perform the tasks assigned to us to the best of our abilities. Some of us were working as stage techs for the main stage at the event, while a couple of us were managing an arts and crafts booth where children could come and color, and we believe that the program aligned with the expected outcomes since we contributed to the goal promoting cultural exchange, educational development, and community service.
From volunteering with the Chinese Club of San Marino, we were able to be a small part of a contributing factor in their efforts to serve the community. Not only that, but most of our group are not part of the Asian culture. So experiencing this type of culture was something we didn't experience before. By following up with the organization, we felt like we were able to appropriately assess efficiently our program design, which was to conduct volunteer service hours for the Lunar New Year Festival hosted by the Chinese Club of San Marino. There's always room for improvement. In the future, ideally, we would have loved to have more time be in contact with the organization. Luckily, we did feel privileged because the event was postponed the original time and date because of the weather. So we were able to get more involved than we thought we were going to be.
While we weren't able to conduct a video interview, we got good feedback from the organization. Much like us, they felt like more time wouldn't have hurt. But regardless, they were thankful for the little that we could do, thanks to them fitting us into their schedule. Our group was so thankful of this organization for allowing us to be a small part of a large celebration. Early in the semester, we learned about ethnic identity. Ethnic identity is an individual's psychological connection with members of a shared culture, including a particular worldview, language, and behavioral dynamic. When we were celebrating Lunar New Year with the Chinese Club of San Marino, we were also celebrating ethnic identities of many people in the San Marino area and beyond. There's not many times where people from these Asian American communities can come together and celebrate something as big as Lunar New Year. And seeing as the Chinese Club of San Marino was able to put on this event together with different organizations, we saw this identity being celebrated through a myriad of performances, some very cultural food, and some awesome activities that they were putting on for the entire community.
Our overall experiences were positive. This learning service helped us interpret related issues in the Asian American community. We observed positive changes in our design program. Not only were we able to succeed on our emphasis on helping in cultural enrichment, but we learned how to help the Asian community in a way that they needed assistance in.
And finally, this service learning project impacted our perception, attitudes, and impression on topics related to Asian and Asian American people, because we were able to learn about their culture and practices, and most importantly, we felt seen and included in their culture.